Howdy, folks. Just going to read a short selection tonight from Danger, Man Working. It's from a longer article I did for Men's Health magazine, because I'm the kind of guy you think of when you think of the cover of Men's Health magazine. Haven't had an ab in my life. And it's called Teetotal because it's a piece about never having had a drink of alcohol in my life, which is true. And people get uncomfortable when, like, I'll get offered a drink and I'll say no thanks, I don't drink, and people get real uncomfortable, and they think they've either offended me or they think that I'm recovering, and neither is true. I just never ever started drinking. It's a little more complicated than that, but not much. And I've written about it probably more than I should have. But one of my favorite parts of this piece was I got a chance to tell about the time I finally got picked for jury duty. And this is in the wrap-up of the piece, and I'm talking about how there were studies that show that if you really, really have what the old Norwegian ladies of my childhood would call a sweet tooth, which was just an excuse to mow down on sugar cookies and hard candy, that you also have a potential predilection to alcoholism. It's a tenuous study. It's not gospel, but there's the potential there. And I've noticed behaviors in myself. Boy, this is turning into a real self-disclosure more than a reading, isn't it? Anyway, I've noticed that I don't have real good impulse control when it comes to certain kind of foods, and that maybe if I did start drinking, I would exhibit the same sort of impulse control, so I'm really not interested. And I remember now, the other reason that I did this piece is because there had been those studies that said drinking alcohol is healthy for you, and wine, and so the point of the piece was I talked to a bunch of experts and said, for someone like me, are the health benefits such that I should start drinking? So this is the and they gave me conflicting advice, and so I'm wrapping up now. Faced with the conflicting advice of alcohol experts, I finally turned to my wife. She is a moderate drinker and a nutrition fanatic. Do you think I should start drinking? I ask. I really did ask her. To which she replies, not if you handle your drinking anything like you handle your sugar. Recently, she has been forced to hide her baking supplies, specifically the chocolate chip bag, in the freezer beneath a fortress of pork chops. I know, because that's where I found them one Tuesday at 3 a.m. But that seals it. I'm going to stay on the wagon. After all these years, it'd be a shame to find out I'm that guy who can't hold his booze. And there'd be nothing sadder than a man my age woo-hooing in a sports bar. Besides, the abstemious life has its upside. The first time I was ever called to jury duty, it was for a guy fighting a drunk driving case. Having responded as an EMT to alcohol-related crashes for years and having worked at least one accident scene with the arresting deputy, I figured I'd be bounced right away. But I made it into the final group and was seated. Just as the judge swiveled his chair to begin the trial, he paused and swiveled back to look at us in the jury box. Just out of curiosity, he said, is there anyone here who doesn't drink? I raised my hand. I was the only one. Do you believe if someone drinks alcohol, they are a bad person? Asked the judge. If I did, I replied, I wouldn't have any friends. That got a pretty good laugh. But then, with the comic timing of a veteran stand-up, the judge replied, not in this county you wouldn't. That got an even bigger laugh. And then he bounced me. So the only time I ever got on jury duty, I quite ironically got kicked off the jury because I don't drink. Alrighty. Hang in there. Be good to each other and forward.